Hello everyone. Today we will break down the latest released Conjuring movie, that is the Conjuring Last Rite, that was released on 5th September. So the movie is actually is said to be the last of the Conjuring universe. So let us just take a look at the movie. So the movie starts with the young Ed and Lauren Warren, where they are investigating their case in the early 1964, and in this case they are investigating. We came to know that about a certain kind of a mirror, and at first glance they even don't have much idea about whether it is haunted or not. And when we see Lauren just going near the mirror, so she gets because she is pregnant at the point of time, and she gets the idea when she touches it, the mirror just cracks out of nowhere, and after cracking, the sudden glimpse of something happening bad to her and her child we can see there. And she is pregnant at the point of time, and when there is the process of delivery is going on, it's a very much difficult process for her to deliver the baby at the point of time. And we see that she sees the glimpses of some unknown, some demon like creature in that room at the point of time, right, where we can see right now. And so it's very evident that she was somehow saved, because it was almost impossible to save Judy, that is the child of Ed and Lauren Warren. And slowly she just grows up, and we can see the glimpses of the bond between the mother, father, and the daughter itself. So this is kind of the emotional story building the movie just focuses on at the starting point of time, and it's very evident that the bond building is very strong between all of the character at the starting. And now we can see that Lorraine Warren, which is the paranormal investigator, just teaches some kind of a trick, some kind of sentence to Judy, so she can stay away from things, from the otherworldly things, because she has also the same capability that Lorraine Warren possesses about seeing the otherworldly things. Then we are jump back to the 1986, where we are introduced to the small family. So in the small family we are introduced. So this is a kind of a big family that is residing in the West Pittston area of the Pennsylvania in US. And when we see that this family is just happily living thereafter when they are shifted, and we get to see the introduction of the horror mirror, or the cursed mirror that we have seen at the starting point of the movie. And then we are introduced to the different characters of the small family, such as the daughter Dawn Small, and the other daughter that is elder, that is younger one, that is Heather Small. And we see that at the starting point of the time, it's very evident that when Dawn Small is in contact with the mirror, she get a kind of glimpse. She just feel uneasiness while looking through that, and she senses something unusual. And right from that moment, some things just begin to wind up in their house. Something strange happenings just begins. We see on the other hand, Ed and Lauren Warren just delivering the lecture, and after delivering their lecture in that conference, they are back to the restaurant, where we see three of them, parents and their daughter Judy Warren, just having a casual conversation. And then we are again back. We are shown the scene where in the small family, when the lady in the small family is talking via phone. So we see that some kind of horror activity is just going on. And then when the Heather is playing with that doll, the doll suddenly just shows a very unusual activity, and she just turns kind of very awkwardly. And when the face is revealed, it's kind of we see a ghost, and the jump scare is on you. Next time we see that actually the small daughter who just threw the mirror out of their window, and now the mirror is just carried on by the people who are collecting garbage. So we see that at a point of the time, and out of nowhere, Dawn Small just is spitting blood, and along with the blood, some kind of glasses particles are also coming out of her mouth. So this begins question, and this just terrorizes the whole family at that point of time. It becomes very difficult for them to even imagine that what kind of condition is Dawn Small is going through. Then we are cut to the next scene, where we see Judy's boyfriend, that is Tony. So they are going for their introduction scene, where Tony is just introduced to the family. And And when we see Tony just exchanging words between the family, such family members such as the parents, Ed and Lauren Warren, and also other members who have worked with the Ed and Lauren Warren. And when they are in a room, so they share an intimate kiss with each other, kiss with each other, and they are having some moments there. But at the point of time, this moment are interrupted when Lauren Warren comes into room, and she just asks Judy whether everything is alright or not, and Judy exclaims that she is alright. Then we see the tennis match between the Ed and Tony, where Ed just wins and Tony is lost to him, and we see the all cheering and hooting up. So just showing the emotional kind of aspect of this movie. And next time we see that Tony shares his side of the story. He's saying that he want to marry Judy, and he has also brought a ring with him. So they are having this conversation in between all the three of them. And when Judy arrives, she also came to know about this. We see the then next scene, the when it is cut, we see the introduction of the Father Gordon, which is a very important figure and very important character in this movie, when he tells about the Smalls family going through a series of hauntings. And again, back in the Smalls house, we see that the family is very much terrified, and in this kind of thing, uh, they are just seeking help from the church. And we see the main father figure of the Small family is undergoing uh, kind of a transformation. He's just frightened by everything that is happening. He's imagining things. It becomes very difficult for him. And when we see that Don Small is just revisiting the recording that was happening whenever the convocation, all those processes are going on. And then we see the distorted figure of a person, and X in his hand is just brutally terrorizing all of the people, especially the Don Small. And so this is said to be the second number ghost or the spirit which is terrorizing the Small family. And then later scene, we see that actually this news or these things, it has just become very much larger, and news channel from various other states and have come to just cover up the things and to get more about what is actually happening. In the next scene, we see that Judy is preparing for her wedding dress, and when she goes to buy it and when she goes to change it, when she's looking in the mirror, so she notices something strange. And suddenly the light, she begins to have a horror experience. She begins to have an experience where she see that she is again attacked by the same old woman that we have seen in the Heather case. And this is kind of a terrifying. It's, I think, second encounter for the Judy where she have experienced something like that. In the next scene, we see that Father Gordon have arrived at the Small house, and he's having a very important talk with the persons of the Small family. That and when he goes into the basement, he tries to sprinkle the holy water on the staircase, on the wall, and on the land itself. But after some time, see that the water evaporate, indicating that the presence of the something otherworldly, something out of nowhere, horror entity is present there, and he urgently needs to go to church to address these things and help the people out who are in much difficulty here. And we see that when he goes back to his building, where we see that there is there is the otherworldly, the horror entity just tries to attack him, and he's holding cross on his hand, but unfortunately the horror entity overpowers him and he just dies. When in the next scene, we see that Tony interacts with the Ed Warren. And then cut to next scene where we see the funeral of Father Gordon, and each and everyone is present at the funeral, Ed and Lauren Warren's family. And Judy, when she touches the coffin of the late Father Jordan, she comes to know that something is very unusual, and she gets again a glimpse, kind of glimpses again awareness that something has very dangerously happened with them. And she immediately knows that this is linked to the Small family. And in the next scene, we see that when Lauren Warren is washing the dishes, something strange began to happen with her, because the blood started to flow out of the wash basin. And again, when they try to decide where their daughter is gone, so they try to uncover this thing and they reach the small family. So at starting point of time they were just hesitant because they had left their job of this paranormal investigation thing. So they were just keen on taking their daughter back to home and just leaving the case, because they are not taking case as they were taking before. But Judy confronts them. Judy just tries to make them understand that this is the case they are working on and they should not be fearful and they should try to help out the people who are in need. So both of them eventually agrees to their daughter's wish and they then agrees to work on the case and help the people there. When Lauren Warren just enters the home, she feels the presence of a spirit is just heavy and it's just lethal in every aspect. We see that in the upper part of the house where Judy goes, so she encounters the same mirror that were discussed in this film at the starting point of the time, and somehow it gets into the upper part, and whenever I think it touches the mirror, so the contact is made between the demon and the Judy. So it's kind of a gateway, I guess. In the next scene we see that Annabelle doll is there when Judy just encounters it out of nowhere, and the doll just transforms into something horrifying of a demon itself. And that scene is also very good because it's the scene of the nearly climax, and the doll actually chases Judy, and Judy is terrified at the point of time because the moments and overall atmosphere is very tense, and she just falls and she just falls off the stair. And when she falls off the stair, other people of the house just reaches there, including Ed and Lauren Warren and small family members. And when they reaches, they see nothing. After that, we see that Ed and the head of the small family, the father figure, they just goes on the top basement, and in their way they just try to take the mirror out of the home. So they just what we can say, they just pack it so we cannot see what is there in the mirror, or we cannot see any kind of reflection. So they just pack it by using the cloth and 2 or 3 belts. But due to the superior power of the mirror and the horror entity linked to it, it just tries to open it, and it is very much successful in opening itself. And whenever we look into mirror, we see something of the horror entity that is haunting themselves in the small house, and it is very evident that they has to be taken and brought in the occult museum of Warrens, and some procedures have to be done to just nullify the effect, because it is providing a gateway. Here on the other side, Tony just prepares a car, but unfortunately something in his way just makes him very difficult for his car to get on the right track, and his car just crashes on the home that is present nearby. And we see the Lauren Warren just terrified by all this event, and when she reaches the room of Judy where she was resting, we see that now the Judy is under the control of that horror entity, that horror force that is now just dominating Judy, and she's just now terrorizing the other people and other part of the small family and remaining people, including Lauren Warren, especially Ed Warren, because she did not recognize anyone, as she is under the influence of the that demon or the horror entity. When we see at the basement, Lauren Warren encounters the 2 or 3 of the spirits, uh, especially the man with the axe and another the woman spirit, and we see she's just running from this entity. And especially when we were seeing in the theater, the experience itself is very immersive, and you came to know the actual horror thrill when you watch this kind of movie in theaters. And then Tony just enters the basement, and they are just trying to now get the things back to track. It's very difficult because Judy Warren is under the control of one and only the force that was linked to that mirror, so it becomes very difficult for them. So now Ed uh, now just prepares for the kind of exorcism, or just chanting the some words so that they can just nullify the effect of this mirror and solve this problem of small family just gets out of the house, gets out of this house. And Judy just hangs herself, and it's become very difficult. At first sight of time, when I think that she might be dead, but she's not. And after giving CPR by Ed Warren, and so she comes back alive. I guess she was just alive, and it becomes very difficult because the mirror just is a gateway, and it is trying to kind of create just provide it for other spirit to come in, and then they are trying to just uh, chant the holy words to the mirror, so that they can nullify the effect. And it is rotating at a very fast speed. At the climax we see that, and Tony is trapped under that, and we see that their reflections that are their shadows, but they are, you can say, the other side. They are the negative of their what we see in the movie itself. So then the Lauren Warren just teaches Judy that we have to fight, and you can do it. We have to fight the evil spirits, and so by doing this, they can save anyone. So they can save the whole condition, and they just have faith in them, and they just try, and somehow they just luckily neutralize the whole thing. And it also helps in it by just chanting the whole things, the holy words. uh, and similarly it goes without noticing that the effect of this mirror is just diminished, and this mirror now need to be carried out and placed in the occult museum of Warrens. And we see at the last moment where all are relaxed and everything is just back to normal, and the small family just stays back in the house, and they experience no kind of paranormal things, and everything is normal and back to tracks. So this is all about the Conjuring Last Rites. The main thing I like about the movie, it just focuses more on the emotional and raw side of this Ed and Lauren one, especially on the character of Judy. And I think the studios are just trying to cash in more money, because they will do spin-off something shit like that, because they will try to just continue the story by the new character that they have introduced in this franchise, that is Judy. So that's interesting to see, and it's kind of interesting movie, but not up to the mark that I believe. I guess horror and thriller element should have been more, so it would have been a balanced film. But I think it was made very very well made movie. The cinematography and visual effects and overall storytelling was very good, and the makeup on the VFX was spot on, especially on the spirit and all those things. The pacing of the movie was good, and climax, I think last 20 minutes were just blast. I mean, they were so good. So you don't feel that much, but yes, you do feel the length of the movie is large, around 2 hours 50 minutes. So it's large, it's big, but still I give this movie a solid 4 out of 5 star. So it's definitely a one-time watchable, but not anywhere near the Conjuring first part or the second part, which were directed by James Wan, and this was directed by Michael Chaves. But I think he just uh, tried very good, and this is all about the movie. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Subscribe for more.